and then I'm going to change it back. And then we're going to have audio, you see? Now, I don't know if I had audio all of that time before. I want to move this back over here. I like it over here. I like it down here. So, let me know. Give me some feedback. See, gone. There it is. Gone. There it is. Gone. That is my new logo. It's a little small. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Because you are tuned in to Mark Z's Drumcast. Thank you very much. I am Mark Zapata, owner and founder of MarkZDrums. And this is my YouTube channel, MarkZDrums on YouTube. And this is Mark Z's Drumcast. I like to come on here and talk about drums. I like to come on here and play drums. We had a little bit of an audio issue in the beginning. I may have been, I don't think I was on the whole time. Like, I don't think my audio was working the whole time. But I just had to, flip a switch or two, finagle a little something here or there. And here I am. I'm here with you live. As you can see, the lighting is a little different. I like to kind of bring you inside. I like to bring you behind the camera, break that fourth wall, if you will, and kind of let you know what my process is over here. You might see Louis popping around. He's going out. There he goes. He's going out. There he is. Look in the left corner of your screen. Every once in a while, you'll see movement. That's my Louis. That's my Louis Gooey. Now, the problem is he's been hanging out with me in my studio, but as soon as I start playing my drums, he pops up and he takes a walk. But I love that he hangs out with me here. What I'd love to do, I have a TikTok video of him sitting on a saucer chair that I have in my studio, and he's just chilling there. He's so comfortable. I want to try to see if I can get him in there so that he can be comfortable, and then even if I'm playing my drums, he's not going to get disturbed. He's right back here in the corner of my drum rug. That has become his new favorite spot. But he's not bougie, right? So I bought him these beautiful doggy beds. He could give two S's about comfy, nice, plush doggy beds. He's a rug guy. He's a couch guy. He hangs out on my thigh when we're watching TV in my favorite easy chair. So I can't get him in a nice, cushy, expensive, fluffy dog bed. But that's up to him, man. That's okay. But he just likes to be where I am. So if I am playing drums, likely he's going to take a hike, but then he'll come back in a little while to see what's going on. But anyway, enough about that. We are growing. We are expanding here. The lighting is a little different. I wanted to take you, break down the fourth wall, take you into the production over here at MarkZDrums Studios. And basically, we're changing the lighting a little bit. Expect big changes very soon. I have a number of things in the works, including a logo. I got some other things that I'm working on as well. Let me know if you like the logo, right? Check it out. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me see. I have the YouTube chat up here now. But hey, listen, this is right now. Okay, no, that's perfect. Right now, this is a one-man show. I am a one-man army. I'm an army of one, bringing you this incredible content every day. And I'm still working on my schedule. I think it might go down to a couple of days a week because I have to leave myself time to work on some of these drum covers that have been requested, plus my own demo videos. And I'm working on the brand new MarkZDrums online drumming course. So all of that stuff takes time, and I'm trying to balance my time, balance my schedule, balance my day so that I can come and do the Mark Z Drumcast and no, Mark Z's Drumcast. No, not the Mark Z Drumcast. I got to remember what my own podcast is called. It's Mark Z's Drumcast. Anyway, so in order to bring you all of that great stuff, I have to budget my time. but I don't want to be like, listen, this is not, when you see my videos, it's me. When you see my lives, it's me. There's not editing. Of course, when I'm doing my drum covers, I want to put forth the best performance possible. But a lot of times it's just me. It's not me working on the songs for hours and hours and editing and cutting things and making it look perfect. You're not going to get perfection here. You're going to get me. You're going to get my drumming. You're going to get my mistakes, my flaws, my failures. You're going to get everything here on MarkZ's Drumcast. And as I build things out, I'm just looking to try and get better every day, to get better every time, to be more interesting, to bring interesting topics to whoever's out there watching, whoever's part of my community. I appreciate everybody that comes and hangs out and leaves me feedback and lets me know what they think of what I'm doing. And I hope you get something out of it, because I'm really grateful to have been able to experience all that I have, and I want to share it with those that want to listen. So anyway, today I want to talk a little bit about drumming. Again, like I said, I have an instructional video course coming out on drumming. And yes, I do talk about actual technique here and things that we can do. I was just working, we were working on rudiments a couple of days ago or yesterday. But really, MarkZ's Drumcast, I want it to be more about like my experiences and what happens with my students on a daily basis when I teach. What goes on, aha moments, funny moments, fun moments, beautiful moments, but also the grind of it all, right? So I have a lot of students right now, and I have a couple of student bands that I'm working with. I just recently got an offer to work with other student bands, and so we're doing that. This weekend, I have a weekend-long writing session. I have opened up my home to a couple of great musicians that are going to be here, and we're going to do like a 2-day writing session, and we're going to hang out, we're going to have a blast, and we're going to write some great music. So I'm also preparing for that, making sure the climate's just right, making sure I have enough seating, making sure that everything is in its place the way it needs to be, making sure that all my amps are hooked up and everything is ready to go. So that's really what I want to bring you into. I want to bring you inside. So basically, this is just kind of me hanging out here in my studio and talking to you guys. And hopefully you guys want to come and hang with me in my studio and just talk about the things that we have in common as drummers, as musicians, as people who love to play, or even people who know people who love to play, people who love to play. Anybody associated with anybody in the drumming community, you're welcome to come and hang out. Because like I said before in another cast, I'm very involved with my students and my clients. Now, the way I think of it, I think my students are the people that I teach, and my clients are the people that pay for those lessons, right? So, the parents of my students, I will refer to as my clients. And then my students directly, I will refer to as my students. So, I'm often involved with my clients. Let me just mute this here. I'm often involved with my clients because at a certain point, if I have a new student and we're going along and we're moving along and they're doing great, the question will always come up. Well, we're thinking about getting them a drum set. What do you think? And I'm always like, well, are they practicing at home? Yeah, they're into it, they're practicing at home. And then I give them an evaluation. I say, well, the progress has been good. The student, your son or daughter is progressing and things are going well and they seem to be enjoying their lessons. And then the next question, what should I get them? Should I get them electronic drums? Should I get them acoustic drums? Where should I look? What should I get? Even as far as drumsticks, well, they don't have drumsticks now. Should I get them a pad first? Like all of these questions. And this is all important stuff. You know, the other thing too, any teachers out there that are starting out teaching, I've been teaching for over 10 years. I've learned a lot on my journey, and it's been pretty incredible. So anybody that's out there that maybe wants to teach, is thinking about teaching, hit me up too. I'll be glad to answer any questions. If I can help anybody move down the path of education, you know, I would love to do that, because listen, the bottom line is we pass it along. We have our experience, we have our knowledge, and I think we should pass it along as much as we can. I mean, if you're out there doing your thing and you're not a teacher, that's fine. I'm not calling people out that everybody should teach. But if you feel that calling, if you feel that tug, then yeah, we should pass along our experience and our knowledge to younger people coming up. You know, that's just how we do it. And I'm just grateful to be a part of that process to help young musicians, up and coming musicians, you know, shape the future of music. I'm not trying to get dramatic about it, but, you know, listen, we want music to live on. We want people to be interested in creating music. We don't want computers to take over all of our entertainment. You know, we want to have people that are out there making music, that are holding it down, that are staying strong to the practice of playing an instrument and creating music, right? So that's what we're doing. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about today was how many ways we can use drumming in our lives, right? So we want to get better as drummers. We are actively pursuing that. We are taking lessons. We are playing in bands. We are practicing. We are seeking out knowledge, like maybe, I don't know, signing up for MarkZDrums online course, or checking out MarkZDrums YouTube channel and looking for instructional videos. I don't know. Or the drum covers that are up there, or the live performances I have up there. Whatever, MarkZDrums on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, and on Patreon. I'm starting a Patreon. I'm doing a soft rollout. I'm talking about it, but I'm not really putting it out there. The Patreon is up. It's one inexpensive tier to get started, to become a member. There's going to be a couple of perks on there as a thank you from me. But really, we're going to roll it out. What I'm offering for my first level of Patreon is that, you know, send me a message and ask me for a drum cover, and I will deliver you a drum cover. We can expand upon it as we move forward, but to get the ball rolling, let's start doing that. Let's communicate that way. Tell me the songs you want to see me play, you want to hear me play. And I think eventually what I might want to do is I might want to do song breakdowns where I play the drum cover and then talk about what goes into playing it. In case you're trying to learn a song that you're not sure about, I break down songs for my students all the time, and I help them to learn how to break down their own songs. So this is also a way, if you wanted to request a drum cover or request a song breakdown, it's a great way to kind of get started helping you to learn on your own how to break down any song that you hear, okay? It's a really fun process. It's a great process. And once you have the tools, it's not that difficult to learn. So back to the many ways drumming helps us in our lives. We want to get better. We're trying to get better. One way, fitness. You know, if we put in enough time every day playing drums at a high level, we put on some upbeat songs, we play for a half an hour, we've gotten some good cardio in addition to getting better on the drums. Two birds, one stone scenario. That's one way. The second thing is working off stress. We have many stresses in life. I don't have to tell anybody out there about stresses in life. Things come up, things happen. If we can see our drumming and our drums as a way to kind of shut everything out for a little while and get in some good exercise, maybe get out some feelings or get into our feelings, whichever way it works for you. That's an awesome way to use our drumming. I can honestly say that I go into a sort of a meditative state as I am playing drums, depending on what I'm doing, especially if I'm working on a practice pad and I'm just working out hand stuff and I'm trying to get better at something, or I'm trying to work on my left hand chops and speed, or whatever it is. I am focused on that task. So that also kind of helps to kind of push everything out that is kind of in my mind and stressing me out at the time. Almost like, have you ever seen or had a friend or yourself, have you ever done puzzling? I think I've done it, but I don't do it on a regular basis. I know a couple of people who do, and it looks like the most relaxing thing in the world. And it's not a screen, it's not screen based, which is cool. Like, I play games on my phone and stuff like that, but it's not screen based. Or reading a book. You know how people escape when they just open up a physical book and they just sit and they read. It just looks like such a relaxing type of activity. So I look at puzzling the same way. Anything, painting, any kind of crafts you do with your hands, it kind of brings our focus into one thing, and it allows us to kind of get away from everything else. So drumming for me is the same thing. When I'm practicing on my pad, I allow myself to just kind of get into that, focus down into it, and just kind of put everything on hold for a little while. Because we all need a break. We have those stresses, we have those things that we're worried about that we got to do. And sometimes we need to put all that stuff on hold for a little while, just to give ourselves a little bit of a break. Okay, so drumming for fitness, drumming for mental health, drumming obviously to improve, to get better at what we want to do. And then what else? Drumming for community, right? Have you ever gone to a drum circle? Drum circles are awesome. Anybody can come and pick up a drum or pick up a percussive instrument, start hitting, start pounding, and you get into the group mentality. You kind of start to connect with others and the rhythms that are going on. And usually there's a person leading the drum circle, and you just kind of get into it. And again, you push everything else to the side for a little while and you get away from it. But then you build community. You meet people, you have a good time, you connect with them on a very spiritual level, on a basic level. Drumming is primal. So it's a way that we communicate with each other. It's a way that we express our feelings. And there's a lot of stuff in there about drumming, very connected to the earth. So drum circles, another way to build community, to kind of get out of our own heads, maybe get out of our own houses if that's what we need to do sometimes. Just get out there and connect with people in the community. So a lot of cool things that drumming is helpful for in our lives. So I spoke before about learning songs, hearing a song on the radio and being like, man, I wish I could play that song, but I don't know how. And I will say that the first thing we have to do when we're trying to accomplish something like that is listen. Listen, 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 listen. Don't even pick up your drumsticks yet. Just listen to the song. Really get a sense of it. Feel how it flows. Connect with it. Let it get into your mind a little bit. And then when we have a good sense of what's going on in the song, we can actually start to figure out what's happening in the song. Counting is a great way to figure out what's happening in the song, figuring out the time signature. If you want to look it up, look it up. If you're not really familiar with counting or reading music or basic reading, you could look up time signatures. You could look on my channel for different videos about counting. And if we can do basic counting, we could figure out a lot of really cool songs and what's happening in the song. We want to first figure out where the hi-hat's going. How often the hi-hat is being played, how fast, how slow, how much. In relation to the hi-hat, where are the bass drums happening in relation to the hi-hat? Where is the snare drum happening in relation to the hi-hat? Let's get a basic framework down of the song. Let's listen to it, let's think about it, and let's get the very most basic structure of the song that we can. Whether it's, okay, the intro goes for this long, the verse is here, the chorus is here, then it goes back to a verse, a chorus, a bridge, a solo, another verse, chorus, outro. These are all parts of songs. And we can start to kind of get a sense of when we move from one section of a song to another. And then once we get that, we could use counting to build a basic beat that goes through the song. Think of it this way. If you're playing in a band and your band as a whole is learning a song, I would say the most important thing to do is to be able to play through the song on the drums and give your bandmates a structure that they can follow. And then you could run through the song a few times, and then as you get better learning the song, we start to add the details. We start to add the little extra bass drums, the extra hi-hats, or the fills, or the changes, the crash cymbals, whatever else is happening in the song, we could add those later. Let's get a basic run through where we could play it start to finish, and we could play it on time, and we could be there in the song, and then we could start adding in all the good stuff, all the fun stuff, the details, okay? One of the things that I also enjoy doing very much is writing my own drum music, which, like I said earlier, is going to be happening this weekend. I remember the last writing session we had, the singer mentioned some kind of a feel that they were looking for, and I changed the drums completely that I had been playing. I changed the approach that I was taking because of what she said, and it really came out great. She loved it, the guitar player loved it, and so we kind of went on in that direction for this particular song, and it's working out great. And that's a lot of what I talk about with my students when I work with my student bands. It's communicating. How do we communicate with one another? How do we ask a bandmate to change a feel? I'm kind of feeling this for this song, you know? What do you think? Can you try something like that? If they're writing a song or if they are learning a cover song. Let's go over that part again. I'm not sure where we're supposed to change. Is that, you know, did you do that right? Can we go over it again and make sure that we're nailing it? All those kinds of things. So communication between bandmates is super important. What I like to do when I'm writing music in a band situation is I like to play different versions of the same song. If I am trying to write a drum part for a certain riff or a certain song structure, I like to record myself, number one, but also record myself playing 4 or 5 different versions of drum parts for the song. Because this way I could listen back later at my leisure. I could sit outside on my deck and I could put on my headphones and I can listen to what I've done, and I could pick out parts. The first take, I don't like any of it. The second take, I like this part and this part. The third take, I like that part and that part. Maybe we'll combine those two. Fourth take, nope, no good. I don't like the feel of that. Fifth take, oh, I like the way I played the end part. Okay, let's pick and choose the parts that I like and put them into one solid drum part for the entire song. That, I think, is a great way to kind of really experiment, try out different things. Listening back allows you to really hear it together with the other parts of the song, with the other parts of the band, and decide if it works or not. And of course, talk to the other band members and come up with a consensus of what everybody likes. Usually, in my experience, guitar players don't write drum parts, drummers don't write guitar parts or vocal melodies. We could tell each other if we like something or not. But for the most part, you know, we do our own thing, we pull our own weight, but we do get consensus from everybody. What do you think of that? You know, because we don't always know, I don't really always know how to communicate what I'm hearing to a guitar player. Well, can we try this? Can we try that? I've tried to educate myself. I've spent a lot of years working with bands and guitar players and bass players and singers. So I kind of have a good idea of how to communicate with different musicians when I'm trying to express an idea to them. But really the best way always to do that is to know how to read music and know how to write music so that you can communicate ideas to people rhythmically. You can communicate chord structure to people. Anytime that you can learn a different instrument, I would say piano for writing. If you are a drummer and you have ideas and you want to write, learn piano. You can learn guitar, but I just think that piano lends itself more to writing a little bit easier. But I don't know. I could be crazy. That's just my opinion. So again, getting together with musicians is fun, and it's a great way to spend your time. So I really do like to record everything we do and go over it, listen back, live with it for a week. You know, I was usually practicing once to twice a week, so I had time to live with something that we've written for a few days. Listen to it in the car, listen to it as I'm doing my everyday things, as if it was a piece of released music from one of my favorite artists, and then just see what I think about it, see how it feels to me if I'm listening as a listener, if I'm thinking about it as though I just told Alexa to play this song from my playlist, and see what I think about it. So just a couple of things that I've been thinking about, how we use drums in our daily lives, the benefits of being a drummer, that being physical, emotional benefits, community benefits, and then the basics about learning how to play a song. All of this stuff is going to be in my course. I talk a little bit about this stuff throughout my lives because it's just stuff that I do on a daily basis. And then ultimately how I come up with drum parts. Okay, all of this stuff is not necessarily, hey, this is how you play the drums, but it's all important stuff if you're a drummer, if you are coming up, and if you are trying to get better and you're trying to reach out and work with other people. All of that stuff on the periphery. What do I do? One of the biggest parts that I'm going to talk about in the beginning of my online drumming course is the fact that you don't need anything to start drumming. You need one thing. You need a body. You need yourself. If you have that, you could start your career in drumming. You can start your journey of drumming. You don't need drumsticks. You don't need a drum pad. You don't need drums. You really don't need anything. You need yourself. And a lot of people look at me funny when I say that, but it's totally true. And I think that's why when I talk to people initially for a first consultation, if they're thinking about jumping on board MarkZDrums and taking lessons, I explain to them that I can come to your home if you're local. You don't have to spend anything other than the price of your lessons in the beginning, and we can get started. We can get rolling. We can get you to understand a lot of the basic stuff that you need to know before you even have a drum set, before you even have drumsticks. And then once you get drumsticks and a drum pad maybe, we can talk about different ways and things you could use around your house to help you to get going, to get moving, to get started. And then when it comes time for a drum set down the road, we can talk about options. There are many, many options for drums. The beautiful thing about drums, you don't really break drums. You know, drums last a long time. I have drums from 30 years ago. 30 years ago? Yeah, maybe a little over 30 years ago that I'm still playing on now, and they sound great. I have them in a rehearsal room for one of my projects, and I play on them on a weekly basis. I had an electronic set before I got this beautiful Roland TD50K V2. I had an electronic set that I have for 20 years, probably, that I was still playing on. I just upgraded the cones on the inside of the triggers, and I upgraded the sounds through my computer, but the drums themselves last, you know. So there's an option of getting used drums for your student or for your child or for yourself, to get yourself a set of drums to start working on without spending a ton of money. A lot of great used drum sets out there, as long as you know what you're looking for. So there are options. We don't need to spend a lot of money to become drummers. A lot of times we're already drummers and we don't realize it. And we start taking lessons, and all of a sudden everything falls into place. And I call it like a drummer, like a drummer's IQ. Like some of my students come in and they're young and they have no experience playing drums, but they pick up sticks and they look like they've always been holding sticks. And they hear something and they replicate it, they duplicate it, and it sounds like they know exactly what they're doing and they're supposed to be doing. So some of us just have this innate natural ability, natural affinity for playing drums, and we just kind of need to pay attention to it and start to build it. So anyway, I hope you like the logo. Let me know what you think. Big changes coming to MarkZ's Drumcast, as well as MarkZDrums on YouTube, as well as MarkZDrums on Patreon, as well as MarkZDrums on TikTok. I still have, oh, I'm so crazy. I still have to do that thing. If you were watching my Drumcast yesterday, you know what thing I'm talking about. So you know what? I got to go do that like immediately. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know when new content goes up on my channel. Please check out my social media, all my other platforms, MarkZDrums. Like, follow, whatever kind of support you can pass on is greatly appreciated. It's not just about joining my Patreon. That would be great, as we're trying to build a community there, but a like somewhere, a subscribe, a follow on one of my socials, all of that stuff is super appreciated on my end. And any feedback you have, questions, whatever it is, let's interact, let's talk about drums. And that's about it for today. I got to go do that thing. Thanks for checking me out. Thanks for tuning in.